Hi everybody. Like Pierre said, I'm from Biodiversity International, and I'm going to talk about Crop Ontology. And it's a very similar effort to what Marie-Angelique just explained. But okay. So essentially, Crop Ontology is trying to describe, to provide an ontology, a semantic web-friendly ontology of 16 different crop. And we're specifically concentrating on breeders' traits. So these are the crops that you can find available if you go on the Crop Ontology website, which is cropontology.org. And so we have 16, and we're thinking, of course, to increase this in the future and to include as many crops as possible. That's the idea. So okay, I'm going to talk a little bit how we let users or our users to upload data to the Crop Ontology. We have actually, we provide people a web interface for uploading these ontologies, and they can upload their concepts, because if you think about it, ontologies or vocabularies, they're simply concepts that have a meaning. So we leverage several technologies to do this. One of these is famous, Excel templates that a lot of scientists are very familiar with, and so we allow our users to basically structure their concepts or their vocabularies directly within their Excel programs, and they can create CSV files, and then they just upload them through the system. They have a very nice web interface. They can click a button very easy, and it's online. And of course, we also support this other format, which is kind of the nemesis of RDF in a way. I don't know if it's nemesis, but it's a very well used format in the biomedical community. And I'm not sure about the standard because, of course, it's not very semantic web friendly because it doesn't use URIs for identifying things. But anyway, we support this format as well because we think it's valuable. It's still being used, and we can actually there's ways of converting this format to semantic web RDF formats. And so if you have any questions, you can stop me anytime. So this is just a screenshot of the web interface. So like I said before, we allow people to, this is on the website. You can go there, click on upload a OBO file, and put in the basic information. You choose your OBO file from your computer, you click upload, and it's on the web. Of course, we have a lot of validation, so it's not like anybody can just come in and start uploading concepts about anything. We have a permission system with this tool, so we only allow specific people and to do this. And of course, in the middle, I haven't talked about it, but we also allow the possibility to let people create ontologies online. So we've built this very basic online web interface that allows them to type in their concepts using a very basic HTML form on the web. So here I'm going to give you a little example of how the Matteis ontology specifically looks on the web. And yeah, so on the left you have basically all the list of the terms that exist inside this ontology. So you start from the main, Matteis, of course. And underneath it, we kind of group all our different traits based on their class. So we have agronomic traits, we have morphological traits, stress traits, et cetera, et cetera. So anyway, for example, here I'm showing the trait plant height. And we have, on the right, we have basically all the properties of this concept. And what it means, its definition, and I'm going to show you in a little bit. But anyway, this online tool also provides a way for our users to directly interact. So, for example, the person who uploaded this ontology, he is the owner of this ontology, so he's the one who actually sat down and actually wrote these concepts down. So we have the ability for him or her to actually go online and edit these attributes. In fact, here you have a little hint of the functionality as you can extend the the meaning of this concept with further information, such as images, etc. So just to dive a little bit more into detail about RDF and how is this represented in the semantic web as a whole. Unfortunately, we don't have a very URI-friendly or meaningful names as before. I saw before on Maria Angelique's tool, but that's basically the identifier CO column. CO322 column 00. That's the identifier for the maze concept, right? And we just say that it's type class, so you can use it. And so very basic. And then we have plant height, for example, which is again another identifier. So we describe this concept using 0007, which is like James Bond or something. So the domain, this is a property, right? An RDF property, and the domain of this is of course maze, and in fact it points to maze, which I've just defined above. So just really briefly, I've showed you an example of plant height, and the URI we prefix, so I can show you, okay, this is the namespace, and this is a local identifier, so slash everything, so this is the URI that you can use in your data to annotate your data, to link data, everything, and we use a slash RDF as our namespace, so that thing will never change, and of course then this changes based on the concept that you're trying to link to. And of course, very link data friendly, and we provide, of course, these are RDF URIs, so they are dereferenceable, and just by using any kind of HTTP client, you can load the URI and get back the definition. For now, we only support RDF XML, which I've learned just yesterday. That's default standard W3C formats for doing this, for obtaining the data. And but we have also support for other formats like RDF Turtle, as I've seen, and others. Of course, there's so many other different formats for RDF. But essentially, XML is our main target at this point. So okay, I've talked about this ontology, the fact that you can use this online too to upload your ontology, all these different really nice things. But who's actually annotating their data? Who has data? Okay. So who has data that they want to use these terms to, everybody agree on the same terms, right? The idea of linked data. So for example, one of our main users or data providers, so in a way linked data providers that are annotating their data using these common concepts, is this portal. It's called the Integrated Breeding Platform. And they have data, for example, here I'm showing you their database. It's 1.1 gigabytes, it's very large, of wheat information. And they are using our identifiers. Of course, there's minor improvements. We'd like it to be more linked data friendly, more RDF friendly, so that's ongoing. Number two, we have the genotyping data management system. You can go, that's the URI of their, the URL of their project. You can access the website, download their data. Same thing, they have links to our Crop Ontology identifiers. Then we have another website, oops, sorry for the last slide. We have another website called actrials.org. They also do the same thing. Cassava, another one, number 4. And also another one interesting that we collaborate, he's not here today, but they helped with writing our paper for this workshop. But interesting, they're using RDFA for annotating their, so they have RDFA is essentially RDF, but embedded within the HTML page. So instead of having a different URI for describing web pages, the data and the documents are within the same URL, which is very interesting. And they provide, so each one of these links, if you look at the source code of this HTML page, it's essentially, there's inside there, there's meta information that links to our Crop Ontology identifiers. Okay, so really quick, why? So you might ask yourself, okay, why did we do this kind of from scratch. I mean, it's not a very complex tool, but we did it from scratch because we needed essentially we needed something that was very tailored, and we needed different things like specific interfaces. Even though the idea is very simple, we have an ontology, we have a list of concepts. We still needed something very tailored for our needs. For example, we needed something that was 100% online, web-based. I'm sure there's other ontology modeling tools that exist that are web-based, but we needed something more that allowed, for example, online collaboration. In fact, here you can see I'm giving you another hint of the functionalities of the tool that allow you to, directly from within a website, the ontology maintainer can go there and he can change, or she can change the information on the website. And also very, very important, I mean, we had a huge problem with the existing tools for modeling ontologies. They're extremely cumbersome and very unattractive for users that are not if you don't know anything about RDF or URIs or things like that, you're confronted with these tools. Like I've used I can't remember one, but it was very complex, so we needed something as little technical as possible. And also the ability, this tool lets you upload images, which is very interesting. So you can go directly on the website, click a button, upload images. And we also have aligned language translation, which is very interesting. So here, again, another hint, you have the language, you choose from all the languages in the world. No, just a few. And of course, like I said before, using this tool doesn't require any OBO or RDF expertise. You can just go there, and in fact, most of our ontology curators, okay, time's up. And finally, we needed something that had customized permission systems. So our users that registered on the site, we needed to allow them to assign, you're an administrator, you can just create, and the current tools that were out there just simply didn't allow this. So we had to do this in a way from scratch. And I think the benefits from rewriting this whole thing, it's fairly basic, but it allowed us to be much more dynamic in our things. So anyway, really quick future. We want to include simple relationships with our RDF output, with RDFS. We don't really want to touch with OWL. We want to keep it basic, maybe actually consider SCOTs. More interlinks with external ontologies like TO, PO, and environmental ontology, and also then stronger presence on ontology search engines like vocab.cc and so on. We also want to improve visibility on BioPortal, which is an aggregator of all these different ontologies. And we want to contribute to NSF, the reference ontology for cultivated plants, and we want to further collaborate with the phenotyping platform database. So all of the projects, so you can reuse it for your own purpose. It's on GitHub, and thank you. Sorry if I ran out of time a little bit.
Okay. Thank you, Luca, for this nice presentation. Questions, please?
Could you go back to one of your first slides talking about the plant height?
This one, this one here?
Yeah.
Which one?
No, that go back.
Yeah.
That one.
Okay.
Okay, so it worries me when I see things like this, right? So you say plant height is an agronomic trait, but you're also saying it's a property by saying that it has a domain. So,
sure. Yeah.
So they're very dangerous things to do in ontologies, in the sense that confusing classes with properties.
Okay, that's not a class. You mean the one above?
Well, but you just said plant height is an agronomic trait in your little diagram underneath.
I've said that it's a domain.
Nope. Put your hand down.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. These, yeah, sure, yeah. Okay.
So that's
yeah.
a dangerous.
Okay, this is actually, I can explain this. This comes from I guess you can say from the legacy of OBO. So since, like I showed before, that we're uploading these ontologies in OBO formats, one of their basic standard relationships or predicates is ISA. And unfortunately, one of our so unfortunately, in fact, one of the things that I showed in my last slide for future was trying to further increase the correctness of these relationships, or make it more expressive, or more, at least
What do you plan to have as the curatorial process? And I completely understand why you want end users to submit their ontologies, but this kind of thing happens when you let non-ontologists build ontologies. I'm wondering what will the process be at some point, assuming that there's resources to do so.
Absolutely. Well, for me, actually, one important thing, yeah, there needs to be, like you said, a very more strict, more expressive relationships. The ontologies need to be more solid with these in terms of course. But we think at least it's important to, through the simple web interface, to at least get these concepts out there. Okay? and then maybe, okay, the process for that, I think that can come in the future. I'm not sure, maybe my colleagues can answer that. But I think at least if we first get it out there, we get these identifiers for these concepts, then after we can worry about the relationships, make it more expressive, more, even though I understand that you're saying that some are really, they should change. I totally agree. Yeah.
If I just add, this was kind of an advanced prototype to address very urgent needs to see the list online, because we are working with breeders which are not really familiar with ontologies, but as soon as they saw the control vocabulary online, they were more engaged to help us curating. But of course, the next step now we are thinking is to have two steps, have a more secured workflow with the curators, and have a production website where you will have a stabilized and version ontology, and then we can also improve the use of those identifiers and URI. So it's our next phase.
It's a constant struggle between the quality and getting the information in the first place.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. Am I really above time?
Is it a burning question?
No, I just like to point at the workbench.
The workbench?
It's called Workbench. It's a tool that I'm from FAO. It's a tool that we use to manage originally it was the AgroVoc editor. Now it's fully fledged RDF SCOS editor. Okay, there is no time, but offline perhaps we can talk about that.
I'd love to. You're from FAO also? You FAO, you said?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Then we need to talk.
I'm very curious to look at the requirements and the data format and so on.
Absolutely. Yeah, we can talk. Definitely. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Luca.